Today we will be having a glance at 6 native New Zealand plant and animal species found amongst the west coast. We will be looking at species such as the weka, fantail, fur seal, and plants such as the kawakawa, nikawa palm and supplejack. The nikawa palm, otherwise known as the Rupala stylis sapida, flourishes in subtropical coastal areas on the west coast and the North Island of New Zealand.
Now this one here is the New Zealand nikau palm.
The nikau is truly endemic to New Zealand, meaning they are found nowhere else in the world. Nikau palms can take anywhere from 2 months to a year to germinate, depending on specific conditions. Optimal germination requires temperatures between 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. They sprout a magnificent red fruit high amongst the treetops and take 10 to 30 years to mature. They are no longer considered threatened and grow in abundance on the stout west coast. Pay attention now, as we will be delving deeper into the bushman's most hated yet loved plant, Ripagonum scandens, otherwise known as New Zealand supplejack.
G'day. This here is the New Zealand supplejack. Look at those. Bloody good. You can eat these. They actually taste a bit like asparagus. They go all over the west coast in wet, sort of warmer areas, especially in moist gullies like this. And they're more grow in the shade. But keep an eye out for it.
We will now be moving on
mate.
to the
Bloody
iconic
brilliant.
South Island fantail, the miniature erratic flying bugger that loves to annihilate sandflies and other small insects. The fantail belong to the Rhipiduridae family and vary depending on their location. The South Island fantail isn't under direct threat. However, predators such as devious and diabolical rats, stoats and possums pose threat to their little beings, as well as threats to their ecosystem inflicted by egghead luxon's fast-tracked bills. Fantails breed in the spring and summer months, typically between September and February. They build small nests made from moss and twigs perched upon a small branch. Female fantails typically lay 3-4 eggs, which are incubated for about 12-14 days. Moving on now from the fantail, we have the more so retarded and mischievous weka, only capable of stealing lunches and becoming a pestilence to its surroundings. They are territorial birds, only capable of short-duration flights. The weka is abundant on the west coast. However, not so much in the North Island. They are listed as population decreasing by DOC. However, they tend to thrive in areas where predators are less abundant and prefer bushland and coastal areas. Weka breed during the spring and summer months, usually from September to January. They build their nests on the ground, often in dense vegetation. The female lays a clutch of 3-6 eggs, which she incubates for about 24-28 days. Now moving on to the kawa plant, otherwise known as Piper excelsum, belonging to the Piperesum family. They were used as medicine and for sacred purposes by Maori, as well as for making tea and various ointments. When flavour is extracted out of the leaf, it gives off a very spicy, peppery taste, very touchy, ouchy, why, in my opinion, dot found throughout the North and South Islands, particularly in coastal and lowland areas, thriving in shaded environments. Kawakawa typically takes around 4 to 6 months for its seeds to mature after flowering. A mature Kawakawa plant can live for 10-20 years under optimal conditions. It's a fast-growing plant, potentially reaching up to 1 meter in height in abundance. Lastly, we will be moving on to our guest of the show, the New Zealand fur seal. These are among the few native species of New Zealand aquatic mammals, which are primarily found in the South Island of New Zealand, stretching as far as Campbell Island. New Zealand fur seals inhabit rocky shorelines, beaches, and coastal cliffs, particularly around the South Island and offshore islands. They breed on remote rocky islands and isolated beaches where they are safe from human disturbance and predators. Mating occurs from November to December, with females giving birth to a single pup. Pups are nursed for about 6 months. Pups are weaned after 5-6 months, and juveniles remain with their mothers for a time before becoming independent. Local populations are threatened by fishing net entanglements and human activities.